Greetings, Brian Rose. I'm News Humor. If the news doesn't make you laugh, it'll make you cry. You asked your London Real Army to comment on something, so I'm going to take a few minutes and comment on that for you. A, I don't think that suing YouTube is a good idea, and I'll tell you why. Your attorney was talking about constitutional rights. I hate to tell you, we don't have any. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to post this. Listen to this Montreal litigator named Viva Frie. I really appreciate his channel too. He's going to break it down in a few words on why I don't believe you have constitutional rights. Check this out.
I don't understand the reasoning of the court, and it bothers me. And when I say I don't understand the reasoning of the court, it's not in this stubborn, childish sort of, I don't agree with you, so I don't understand what you're saying. It's that I don't understand the logic behind the reasoning because it seems to be circular, if not contradictory. Americans have fundamental individual constitutional rights. Okay, these fundamental individual constitutional rights cannot be suspended or eliminated, but they can be regulated even if the effect is a temporary suspension or elimination of those rights. Okay, the courts are not there to assess or pick the best course of action that the government ought to have implemented. Okay, the only thing the courts can and must do is determine whether or not the orders are consistent with law. Okay, but here what the judge is in fact saying is that these executive orders do in fact infringe on the individual constitutional rights, but they are justified in the name of the public interest. Okay, I presume that if the court comes to the conclusion that between two alternatives that the state could have implemented, one being unconstitutional and the other one being constitutional, the court would have to strike down the measure that was unconstitutional. In this particular case, it's not about the court usurping the power of the government and choosing from equally constitutional remedies. I don't know if this decision is going to get appealed, if there's going to be the opportunity for the decision to get appealed, but to me it sounds like a decision that should be appealed.
Okay, that's the first thing, is that they're not respecting constitutional rights right now. The second thing, and this goes out to David Patrick, I really appreciate your show as well. You have really good content. I saw this thing you came out talking about YouTube banning one of your videos, and I thought that you were very admirable about how you handled that situation. You see, David Patrick didn't ruin any relationships. He didn't fuss with the people down at YouTube. He's a businessman and he was handling business. And that's all that this is about.
Now, did YouTube do the right thing to take it down or not? It's irrelevant. Why is it irrelevant? YouTube can take a video down and YouTube can even change the goalpost every time. They can do that. I don't own YouTube. Sometimes we forget YouTube is a free platform. Sometimes we forget YouTube is free. You know, you create a channel, you create videos, you get an audience, and then when you gain an audience, YouTube advertises, negotiates with advertisers, then they advertise on your channel, then you get paid.
YouTube, whether you like it or not, is still a private platform. So I'm going to read you something real quick. Okay, this is a publication from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. This is actually dealing with YouTube getting sued by Prager University. When you come down here to the opinion, McCohen, Circuit Judge. PragerU runs headfirst into two insurmountable barriers, the First Amendment and Supreme Court precedent. Just last year, the court held that merely hosting speech by others is not a traditional, exclusive public function and does not alone transform private entities into state actors subject to the First Amendment constraints. And then it gives you the case law. I will have a link in the description below because it gives you several case law on this and what's going on. That's exactly why I do not believe that you would win a lawsuit, and I do believe that you would basically just be wasting your time and the court's time. Now, even though I've said that, let me go to the third thing, and then I'll get to maybe a positive note. The third reason why I don't believe that it will work or be in anybody's best interest is because the system is all-inclusive. It's all working together. Okay, so the courts, YouTube, Google, the media giants, they're all in collusion with one another, making up the system. And you can't fight that collusion. The courts are going to back YouTube just because it's YouTube, and YouTube has a lot more money than you do to fight your argument. And they're going to win. They're straight up going to win because the system is not going to go against itself. So I believe that that money would probably better be spent elsewhere. Now, I'm not really trying to talk you out of going and suing YouTube or Google, So I'm going to give you my idea. One of the things that I push on this show and the show Just Conspiracy and the Wednesday night radio show that we broadcast is the fact that people need to get together and they need to go down to the courthouses and they need to tell the politicians, the judges, and the government what true law is. Because true law is written on our heart. It's not a book in a library. It's not a statute made from some legislature signed by an executive or a king or queen. True law is inside your heart, and we all know it. We all know what's going on is wrong. I even believe that David Patrick said that he thought that it was wrong. He disagreed with what YouTube did, but at the same time, it's their platform, and they can do what they wish. Brian Rose, this is why when I heard about your digital freedom platform and I thought it was going to be for everybody, I tried to get in contact with you. My apparent error in the fact that that's not what you were trying to create or promote. Thanks for watching the video. See y'all later. Peace.